Hi, everybody. Harry here about important new reporting in the Washington Post having to do with the Mar-a-Lago document charge. I just talked about this on Deadline White House. I'm going to talk about it tonight on The Last Word. I think I have a maybe somewhat different take. And so let me give you, Talking Feds listeners, my take for what it's worth. And I think it, in fact, will be worth something to really supplement where the thrust of the reporting is going now. So we learn that Smith has developed evidence that even increases the already formidable case of obstruction against Trump, namely that even before we've been speculating to date that the receipt of the subpoena from the DOJ was the crystalline, sobering event that brought home to Trump, he's got to comply now. And so therefore, when he didn't, it showed a obstruction in pretty flagrant terms. All of that is still true. The new revelation, I think, only kind of adds to the case and maybe extends it a bit because it has Trump sort of preparing to violate the subpoena even before he got it. So there's a bit of a drama that the night before DOJ comes down to get the subpoena, and the Trump folks have told them they can. They're moving around boxes. Two people do it, Walt Nalta and an unnamed person who we think had no idea what he was doing, has just said he was helping out his buddy Walt. And both of them, I think, are cooperating with the DOJ, and there was, in fact, many classified documents. And when they came the next day in DOJ, they were permitted to look at the storage room, but not to open the boxes. So it just shows pretty clearly what we already knew. Trump knows he's got classified documents, knows he has to comply, and is just preparing, not to do it even more brazenly, even before they show up. To me, good evidence, but just cumulative to what we have already. But I like, especially as a prosecutor, I'm going to more and more be wearing a prosecutor's hat now as we move into potential bringing of charges, that they come from a guy who's just sort of, on the scene, doesn't know anything, just trying to help out Walt. That's the kind of witness that I think a jury will find credible. Okay, so that's what everyone talks about breathlessly. And I don't mean to poo-poo it, but I think it just adds to an already formidable case on, two charges I think he's bringing, unlawful retention of classified documents and obstruction of the DOJ's investigation. There's one line in there, however, that some people have noticed. It's the most important line in the Post report, and it says, prosecutors, in addition, have gathered evidence indicating that Trump at times kept classified documents in his office in a place where they were visible and sometimes showed them to others. So, sometimes showed them to others, people who will follow this, and prosecutors' spider sense goes haywire here because that's a separate crime. It's a crime under the Espionage Act, 18 U.S.C., I want to say 793, disclosure of classified information to others. Ryan Goodman, very smart guy. I respect him, came out and said this will result in Espionage Act charges. I'm less certain, and again, I want to continue to wear my prosecutor's hat. The other biggest revelation, to my mind, in the Washington Post report is that the grand jury has not met since May 5th, longest hiatus since Smith came on the scene. So that's all consistent with reporting we're getting in both Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg that basically he's used the grand jury. And the news we're getting here, importantly, is old news for us. Old news for Smith, new news for us. In other words, we're learning about subpoena and evidence delivered weeks ago when the grand jury was still active. But the question that this big sentence raises is is he going to bring Espionage Act charges in addition? And I would just caution a hesitation here, just because thinking of it as a prosecutor, he's got two very solid counts, it seems to me, and we don't know the nature of the proof that he may have showed it to others. Maybe somebody said he saw him do it, but to whom, I'm not sure. That might be one thing. The other might be the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia saying, yes, I was there and this is what he showed me. Okay, that would be strong. But if you're a prosecutor, I think at this time in your investigation, you start to think how to pare things down, make them strong and simple rather than complicate things, maybe all the more so if your putative defendant is the former president of the United States. So while that line leaped out at a few people, including me, including the estimable Ryan Goodman, my take on it is, we've also been learning about some final moves he made that did not come to fruition. And this may be one of them. Even if he has some limited knowledge, can he prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? So we'll have to see. One other point that's coming up is timeline. So pretty interesting. They haven't met through the 5th, and it's consistent with the Wall Street Journal, which is sourced to people familiar with it, and to Bloomberg. Maybe he's about done with the use of the grand jury. I've written a piece on this in the LA Times. We can post it on this YouTube that says, it looks as if his use of the grand jury has, turned over all the stones it could, and that's what he's focusing on doing. Still, says Bloomberg, that means it could be a matter of just days or weeks after Memorial Day. That's kind of wiggle room for reporters. And to me, what that means is maybe he's about done with the grand jury. That's really important and big news. But now we come into the next important and last stage, effectively, of the process. I mean, the very last is asking a grand jury to return charges and hoping they agree. But there's going to be a review process involving the Attorney General of the United States. And he's going to apply a lot of deference, and he's done it. He's done it with Durham. He's really shown his bona fides here. But that doesn't mean he's not going to methodically go through everything Smith has, talk it through, kick the tires big time with his deputy, with others, probably Deputy Lisa Monaco, Deputy Attorney General, others including Smith. So even though all the time he'll be thinking about a deferential standard of review, I think we can expect it's going to take some real time. He'll clear his schedule for at least a few days and really go through it. And that's another way of saying there's a process coming now that we don't know how long it will take. Again, I very much anticipate he will endorse what Smith recommends. Indeed, under the regs, if he doesn't, he's got a sort of mess on his hands with Congress and explaining it. But Merrick Garland, nevertheless, will go through everything on his own, just as a judge he would have, even if he's reviewing a record in a deferential way. So that's, I think, it may well be, and we have one more tangible indication that they haven't met since the 5th of May, that the grand jury part is near finished, if not finished, and that those starts an important final stage that we shouldn't lose sight of, which is the review with Merrick Garland of everything Smith has found and his assessment of the case. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.